Imagine you have a computer filled with lots of files, just like having a drawer filled with papers. To manage those files effectively, we use something called CRUD operations. CRUD stands for create, read, update, and delete. Let's dive into each of these operations to understand what they mean and how they work. Create operation. When we talk about the create operation, it means making something new. It's like creating a brand new file from scratch. You can think of it as a blank sheet of paper ready for you to write or draw anything you want. To create a new file, we can use special commands in a program called the command line interface. For example, we can use commands like touch or echo to create an empty file or write some content into it. Read operation. The read operation is about looking at what's inside a file. It's like opening a book and reading the words written inside. When we read a file, we can see the information stored within it. To read a file, we can use CLI commands like cat, more, or less. These commands help us view the contents of the file on our computer screen, just like reading the words on a page. Update operation. The update operation is all about making changes to a file. Imagine you wrote something on a piece of paper and then realized you made a mistake or wanted to add more information. Similarly, with files, we can update them by modifying the content or adding new information. To update a file, we use CLI commands like nano, vim, grep, sed, or awk. These commands act as special editors that allow us to change the words in the file or search for specific words and replace them with different ones. Delete operation. The delete operation is like removing or throwing away something you no longer need. Just like tidying up your room, sometimes we need to delete files that are no longer necessary or taking up too much space. To delete files, we use the CLI command rm. It's important to be careful when deleting files because once they're gone, they can't be easily recovered. Always double-check before deleting to make sure you don't accidentally remove something important. By using these CRUD operations, we can manage our files effectively. We can create new files, read the contents of existing files, update or modify files with new information, and delete files that we no longer need. These operations help us organize and keep track of our files, just like how we manage our papers and keep our room tidy. Remember, it's always important to be cautious when performing these operations on your computer. Take your time, double-check, and make sure you understand what you're doing before creating, reading, updating, or deleting any files. Alright, let's dive into the commands for performing CRUD operations on files. CRUD stands for create, read, update, and delete. So let's start with the commands associated with the create operation. To create a file, we have a handy command called touch. You can use it by typing touch followed by the name you want to give to the file. For example, to create a file named sample.txt, you would enter touch sample.txt. After executing this command, if you check the file information using ls-l, you'll see that the file has been created with a size of 0 bytes. Now, let's move on to adding content to the file. Currently, the file is empty, so we'll use the echo command to add some text. You can use the echo command followed by the content you want to add, and then redirect the output to the sample.txt file. For instance, you can type echo hi viewers sample.txt. To confirm if the content has been added, you can check the size of the file using ls-l, and you'll see that it has changed to 11 bytes. To view the contents of the file, you can use the cat command or the less command. For example, cat sample.txt will display the content of the file. Now let's talk about updating the file. There are several tools you can use, such as Nano or Vim, which are text editors. Alternatively, you can use command line tools like sed or awk to modify the file contents. Let's focus on one of them, the VI editor. You can edit the file by typing VI followed by the name of the file you want to edit. Inside the VI editor, press the I key to enter insert mode, and then type the desired characters. To save and exit the editor, press the ESC key, followed by X. After making the changes, if you check the file size using LSL, you'll notice that it has been updated. You can also output the file to see the modifications. Finally, let's move on to the delete operation. To delete a file, we use the rm command, which stands for remove. Simply type rm followed by the name of the file you want to delete, like rmsample.txt. If you check for the file again, you'll see that it no longer exists. That's it for the demo on file operations.